The massive crystal dome of Unity Point Space Station sparkled with the light of 3 nearby suns. Inside the grand chamber, Ambassador James Walker sat quietly, his weathered face betraying no emotion as alien representatives argued about humanity's place in the galaxy. The chamber's white walls towered above the gathering, designed to make everyone feel small and humble. Today, it would fail in that purpose. The humans expand too quickly. The blue-skinned representative from the Stellar Confederation pounded his fist on the floating podium. They colonize worlds without proper consultation, develop technologies without oversight, and their military growth is concerning. Walker watched a small holographic display on his wrist. A timer counted down. In 15 minutes, everything would change. The council elder, a tall being with silvery skin, raised his hand for silence. We must consider restrictions on human expansion. Their aggressive growth threatens the stability we have maintained for 10,000 years. Walker remembered his first day in this chamber 5 years ago. He had arrived full of hope for cooperation and mutual advancement. That hope had died slowly, death by 1,000 cuts of condescension and dismissal. Perhaps, a reptilian delegate suggested, we should assign an oversight committee to monitor their colony developments. Several others nodded in agreement. For their own safety, of course. 10 minutes remained on Walker's timer. He thought about the hidden fleets humanity had built, the shield networks that protected their worlds, and the quantum technologies they had developed while the Council thought them struggling with basic spaceflight. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. The humans have much to learn from our experience, another delegate added. They are young, impulsive. They need guidance. 5 minutes. Walker remembered the Council's laughter when humanity proposed their theory about dark matter manipulation. He recalled their patronizing smiles when Earth requested equal voting rights. Each memory strengthened his resolve. Ambassador Walker. The Council elder turned to him. Surely you understand our concerns. Your species' rapid expansion must be properly managed. We propose limiting human colony operations to systems no more than 50 light-years from Earth, with all military vessels subject to Council inspection. 2 minutes. The chamber grew quiet, waiting for Walker's response. They expected him to argue, to plead, to negotiate as humans always had before. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 1 minute. Walker stood slowly, his movement drawing all eyes in the chamber. He was not a tall man, but in that moment, his presence filled the room. The timer on his wrist reached 0, and a small vibration confirmed what he already knew. Earth's new defenses were now fully active. Honorable representatives of the Galactic Council, Walker's voice carried clearly through the chamber. For 50 years, humanity has attended these sessions. We have listened to your guidance, accepted your restrictions, and endured your condescension. He paused, looking around the room. That ends today. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the gathering. The United Earth Government hereby withdraws from all Council agreements, effective immediately. We will no longer seek your approval for our achievements or accept your limitations on our potential. You cannot. The blue-skinned delegate started, but Walker continued speaking. Our borders are now closed to all Council traffic. Any military vessel approaching human space will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. We have already transmitted this message to all Council worlds. The Council elder rose. Ambassador Walker, this is most irregular. Perhaps we should discuss. There is nothing to discuss, Walker replied calmly. Humanity did not come to the stars to be patronized. We came to thrive. If the Council cannot accept us as equals, then we will make our own way. He turned and walked toward the chamber's exit. Behind him, chaos erupted as delegates shouted questions and demands. Walker didn't look back. He had a transport waiting to take him home to Earth, where humanity's real capabilities were about to be revealed to the galaxy. The age of asking permission was over. The age of humanity had begun. News of humanity's withdrawal spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On the trading world of Haven Prime, Alien merchants watched their computer terminals in disbelief as human trading ships disappeared from tracking systems one by one. Each vessel jumped into hyperspace, heading back to Earth-controlled space, leaving countless trade deals unfinished. In the great market halls, screens displayed the recorded message from Ambassador Walker on endless repeat. The impact hit hardest in the technology sector, where human innovations had become crucial to many species' development. Impossible. Merchant Lord Graham slammed his four-fingered hand on his desk, watching his company's stock value plummet. The humans can't just leave. Half our new products depend on their microprocessor designs. His assistant, a young member of his species, looked nervous. "Sir, incoming report from intelligence. You need to see this." The report revealed a shocking truth. Humans had been operating secret research stations throughout neutral space for years. They hadn't just been trading their best technology. They'd been sharing their older innovations while keeping the real breakthroughs hidden. Across the galaxy, similar revelations emerge. The Council's military intelligence scrambled to understand the true extent of human capabilities. Reports flooded in from border stations. Massive energy signatures appeared along human territory, suggesting defense systems far beyond what the Council thought possible. In the Council's Intelligence Center, Analyst Rex studied decades of archived footage showing human diplomatic visits. He noticed things nobody had seen before. The slight smirks when Council members dismissed human theories, the knowing looks between human delegates when their technology was called primitive. "They were playing us," Rex muttered, watching a human diplomat politely accept criticism of Earth's rudimentary AI systems. All this time, they were letting us think they were behind. The Council called an emergency session, but the chamber felt empty without the human delegation. Elder Marcus, who had served for 3 centuries, looked older than ever as he addressed the gathering. "We have received reports that human space is now surrounded by an energy barrier of unknown type," he announced. "All attempts at communication have been met with automated responses. They are not blocking us. They are simply ignoring us." A trade minister stepped forward. 27 major corporations have reported critical supply chain disruptions. Human components and innovations we thought were simple are proving impossible to replicate. They built their technology to be dependent on regular updates from Earth-based servers. The blue-skinned delegate from the previous day looked shaken. "Surely this is a negotiating tactic. They cannot survive alone." A military commander stood up, his metals clicking. "New intelligence suggests they can. We've detected massive agricultural complexes in their frontier systems, automated mining operations far larger than reported," and he paused, "energy readings that indicate they have mastered technologies we deemed theoretical." The chamber erupted in worried conversations. Elder Marcus raised his hand for silence. "Review the archives," he commanded. "Find every incident where we dismissed human proposals or denied them equal status. We must understand where we went wrong." In a quiet corner of the chamber, a junior delegate watched a video from Earth's first contact 50 years ago. The human representative had said something that everyone had ignored. "We hope to find friends among the stars, but we are prepared to walk alone if we must." Outside the Council station, ships from various species gathered, waiting for permission to enter human space. Commercial vessels, diplomatic ships, even personal craft, all received the same automated message: "Human space is closed to Council traffic. We will contact you if this policy changes." The message was polite, clear, and absolutely final. Just like humanity's departure from the Council chamber, it left no room for negotiation or appeal. The species that had looked down on humanity for so long were learning a hard lesson. Sometimes the student had been the master all along, quietly waiting for the right moment to reveal the truth. Commander Anna Thompson stood at the main control center of Earth's orbital defense station, watching as thousands of hidden satellites activated around the solar system. Each one powered up with a soft blue glow, forming an invisible web of protection that humanity had spent decades building in secret. "Defense grid at 100%, reported her second-in-command, Jack Miller. All colonies report successful activation of their local networks. We are now fully independent of council systems. Through the station's massive window, Earth shined like a blue jewel. Around it, previously invisible defense platforms shimmered into view as they dropped their stealth fields. The Council had always wondered why humans insisted on primitive rocket technology instead of using standard gravity drives. They never guessed that those rockets often carried hidden payloads. Message from Luna Base called out the communications officer. The dark matter reactor is online and stable. Power output exceeds all projections. Thompson allowed herself a small smile. While the Council had dismissed human theories about dark matter as primitive understanding of physics, Earth scientists had quietly mastered its power. Now that same energy powered the shields that would protect human space. In her office, Thompson activated a secure video call with the United Earth Government's main chamber in Geneva. The faces of Earth's leaders appeared on screens around her. Status report, Commander, the Council President said. Operation Independence is proceeding exactly as planned, Thompson replied. Our AI systems have successfully disconnected from all Council networks. The quantum communication grid is operating at full capacity, giving us faster and more secure communications than the Council ever had. She brought up a holographic display showing Earth's true military strength. Hidden shipyards around Jupiter revealed themselves, releasing vessels that had been built in secret. These ships didn't use the standard designs the Council knew about. They were something entirely new. What about the civilian population? Another leader asked. Public support stands at 92%, Thompson answered. The Council's constant patronizing attitude did more to unite humanity than any speech could have. People are tired of being treated like children. On her screens, reports flowed in from across human space. Colonies that the Council thought were simple farming outposts revealed massive industrial complexes. Research stations dropped their disguises, showing technology that would make Council scientists freeze in shock. Message from the Jupiter shipyards, Miller reported. The first wave of automated defense ships is ready for deployment. These weren't the simple drones the Council was familiar with. Each vessel carried an advanced AI core, quantum computers, and weapons that could target ships through hyperspace itself. Humanity had learned early on that if no one expected much from you, they wouldn't look too closely at what you were doing. Commander, the quantum communications officer called out. We're detecting Council probe ships approaching the Pluto defense line. They appear to be testing our borders. Thompson nodded. Activate the warning system. Let's show them just a small taste of what we can do. On her command screens, Thompson watched as automated defense platforms locked onto the incoming probes. They didn't fire. They didn't need to. Instead, they activated a localized dark matter field that simply stopped the probe's engines from working. Send them a Tau ship, Thompson ordered. Get them safely back to Council space. We're not here to fight. We just want to be left alone. The Council President's voice came through again. The Council never believed we could achieve this level of technology without their guidance. They thought we needed their approval for everything. That was their biggest mistake, Thompson replied. They forgot that humans thrive on challenge. By telling us what we couldn't do, they only pushed us to do it better, and in secret. As she looked at Earth through the window, Thompson thought about how long humanity had waited for this moment. The Council had given them two choices: remain dependent forever or find their own path. Humanity had chosen the harder path, but now they were truly free. And if the Council couldn't accept that, well, they were about to learn just how much humanity had been holding back. The War Master of the Steel Legion stood on his flagship's bridge, watching as his fleet of 30 warships approached human space. His species had always thought humans were weak, hiding behind Council protection. Now was the perfect time to prove it. Weapons ready, his second-in-command reported. The humans won't know what hit them. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace near a small human mining colony. They expected to find a helpless outpost. Instead, Their sensors detected nothing. The colony had vanished. Looking for something. A calm human voice came through their communication system. Their screen showed Commander Thompson sitting casually in her command chair. "I'm afraid the colony was moved last week. We knew you were coming." Before the War Master could respond, his ship's engines shut down. One by one, every vessel in his fleet went dark. Their weapons wouldn't fire. Their shields wouldn't activate. Even their backup systems failed. "Don't worry," Thompson said. "Your life support will keep working. Our rescue ships will arrive in an hour to tow you home. Consider this a friendly warning." In the Council emergency chamber, reports of similar incidents poured in. 3 different species had tried to test human defenses. All had failed. Not a single shot had been fired, but every aggressive move had been stopped cold. "How are they doing this?" demanded the military council head. "Our best ships are being turned off like children's toys." The answer came from an unexpected source. A junior scientist rushed into the chamber, holding an old datapad. "Look at this. 10 years ago, a human scientist submitted a paper about using dark matter fields to disable ship engines. We rejected it as fantasy." Elder Marcus read the paper, his hands shaking. They weren't asking for approval. They were warning us. Near the edge of human space, a diplomatic vessel approached Earth's new borders. The Council had sent their most experienced negotiator, hoping to talk sense into the humans. The ship carried no weapons and broadcast peaceful intentions. An automated message responded. "Diplomatic missions are currently not being accepted. All communication should go through official channels." "But what are the official channels?" the negotiator asked his crew. The reply came instantly. "When we are ready to talk, you will know." Back on Earth, Commander Thompson reviewed the day's reports with her staff. The dark matter defense network had worked perfectly, stopping every attempted incursion without causing any harm. As planned, the rescue ships had returned each disabled vessel safely to Council space. "Message from the colony on Mars," her communications officer reported. "The new agricultural domes are fully operational. We can now produce 3 times the food we previously reported to the Council." Thompson nodded. Across human space, colonies were revealing their true capabilities. Farms were unveiling hidden production levels. Research stations were publishing breakthroughs that would reshape galactic science. Every hour, more proof emerged of how much humanity had kept hidden. "Commander," Jack Miller called out, "we're detecting unusual activity in the Council's quantum communication network. Their economy appears to be struggling without access to human technology." This didn't surprise Thompson. Human engineers had carefully designed their exported technology to work perfectly but require regular updates from Earth. Without those updates, the Council worlds would slowly realize how dependent they had become on human innovation. "They thought we needed them," Miller said quietly. "They never imagined they might need us." Thompson watched the holographic display, showing the locations of all known Council ships. They kept their distance now, having learned their lesson. Humanity's message had been delivered without firing a single shot. "We are not weak. We are not primitive. And we are not asking for permission anymore." "Send word to all colonies," Thompson ordered. "Begin Phase 2 of the Revelation Protocol. It's time to show them what human science can really do." As her order went out, research stations across human space prepared to reveal technologies that would shatter the Council's understanding of physics itself. The game of pretending to be less advanced was over. Now, humanity would show its true face to the galaxy. The Imperial Armada of the Star Empire represented the largest military force in Council space. 1,000 warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a small moon, dropped out of hyperspace near the human colony of New Eden. Their supreme commander had promised the Council a swift end to human defiance. "Launch the first wave," the supreme commander ordered from his flagship. "Show these primitives what real power looks like." In her command center on New Eden, Commander Thompson watched the massive fleets approach with calm eyes. The colony's 3 million inhabitants had been evacuated days ago. thanks to human quantum precognition systems that had predicted this attack. "They're launching fighters," reported Jack Miller. "First wave approaching our defensive line." Thompson nodded. "Activate Protocol Omega. Let's end this foolishness." As the Imperial fighters streaked toward the colony, something strange happened. A wave of soft blue light swept out from hidden satellites. When it touched the fighters, their engines simply stopped. The vessels hung in space, powerless but undamaged. The Supreme Commander watched in horror as 300 of his best fighters drifted helplessly. "Launch everything. Full attack." The entire Imperial Armada surged forward. Battleships charged their main guns. Cruisers prepared their missile salvos. Destroyers moved to attack formation. Thompson pressed a single button on her console. A massive dark matter field erupted around New Eden. When it touched the Imperial ships, their advanced technology simply stopped working. 1,000 warships, the pride of the Star Empire, turned into silent metal shells floating in space. All enemy vessels disabled, Miller reported. No casualties. Life support systems remain functional as designed. Thompson opened a channel to the Supreme Commander's ship. "This is Commander Thompson of the Human Defense Force. Your ships will be towed back to your space. Please remain calm." In the council chamber, the news of the Imperial Armada's defeat caused chaos. The Star Empire had never lost a battle in its 5,000-year history, yet humans had defeated them without firing a single shot or causing a single death. "Impossible," the Star Empire's representative shouted. "They must have had help. No species could develop such technology alone." Elder Marcus stood slowly. "You are wrong. We all are. We didn't help them advance. We forced them to advance in secret by refusing to treat them as equals." A junior counselor rushed in with new reports. "The humans are releasing their research data. They're scientists. They've solved problems our greatest minds couldn't crack for millennia." On screens across the chamber, human scientific papers appeared. Dark matter control, quantum consciousness transfer, gravity manipulation. Each discovery would revolutionize galactic science, and humans had kept them secret for years. Back at New Eden, Thompson watched as automated rescue ships carefully towed the disabled Imperial vessels to safety. Each ship would be returned unharmed, but the message was clear. Humanity could not be bullied or conquered. "Message from Earth Command," Miller announced. "The Council is in emergency session. 3 member species have already announced they're leaving the Council in protest over the treatment of humanity." Thompson pulled up a holographic display showing the current state of galactic politics. The Council, which had stood united for 10,000 years, was fracturing. Some species demanded war with humanity. Others wanted to beg for human technology. The old order was crumbling. "Commander," a young officer called out, "the Star Empire's leader is requesting direct communication with Earth. He's offering unconditional recognition of human independence." Thompson smiled. The Star Empire had never negotiated with anyone in its history. Their defeat had shaken the galaxy's power structure to its core. "Send the standard response," she ordered. "When we are ready to talk, we will contact you." As rescue operations continued, Thompson thought about how far humanity had come. They had never wanted war. They had never wanted to humiliate anyone. They had simply wanted respect. And now they had earned it in the most human way possible, by being clever, prepared, and showing mercy even in victory. 3 months after the Star Empire's defeat, Ambassador Walker sat in his office on Earth, reviewing the flood of messages arriving from across the galaxy. Every major species now sought private talks with humanity. The Council, once proud and unified, was splitting apart. "Another resignation from the Council," his assistant reported. "The trading worlds have officially withdrawn their membership. That makes 12 species who have left so far." Walker nodded, remembering all the times these same species had dismissed human ideas in council meetings. Now they sent messages filled with praise for human innovation and requests for technological partnerships. On his desk, a holographic display showed the latest news from Council space. The Star Empire, once the greatest military power in the galaxy, faced internal rebellion. Their people had learned how their mighty fleet was defeated without a single shot fired, and they demanded answers. "Message from the Science Academy on Mars," his assistant said. "They're ready to publish the full research on quantum transportation. Should I give them clearance?" "Do it," Walker replied. "No more hiding our achievements." Across human space, research centers began sharing discoveries that would reshape galactic civilization. Faster than light travel without hyperspace. Clean energy that could power entire planets. Medical advances that could extend life by centuries. Each revelation caused more shockwaves through council space. In his private chamber, Elder Marcus watched helplessly as the council crumbled. Half the member species had either left or threatened to leave. The others fought among themselves, blaming each other for losing humanity's trust. "We have a new request from the Star Empire," an aide told Marcus. "They want to send students to human universities. They say they'd rather learn from humans than continue with outdated council methods." Marcus looked at the latest human scientific papers. Their approach to problem-solving was unlike anything he'd seen in his 3 centuries of life, where council species followed established paths. Humans asked, "What if?" Where others saw limits, humans saw challenges to overcome. The humans didn't just advance technology, Marcus realized. They changed how we think about advancement itself. On Earth's moon, Commander Thompson led a tour for the first group of alien scientists allowed into human space since the withdrawal. Their eyes widened at the sight of the dark matter reactor, a technology they had once called impossible. "How did you achieve this?" asked a leading council physicist, staring at the reactor in awe. "We stopped trying to follow your rules," Thompson replied. "Every time you told us something was impossible, we asked ourselves why. Every time you dismissed our theories, we tested them in secret." The scientists took furious notes as Thompson explained principles that contradicted centuries of council doctrine. Some looked excited, others seemed almost afraid of how much they had to relearn. Back in his office, Walker received an urgent message. The council had just voted to dissolve itself. After 10,000 years, the old order was officially dead. They're requesting that humanity help form a new galactic organization, his assistant reported. One based on mutual respect and shared innovation rather than age and tradition. Walker thought about how long humanity had waited for this moment. They had never wanted to destroy the council. They had simply wanted to be treated as equals. "Tell them we'll consider their proposal," he replied. "But first, they need to understand something. In the new organization, no species will be considered primitive. No idea will be dismissed without testing. No one will be told they must wait centuries before they're ready for advancement." As his message went out, Walker looked at the Earth through his window. Humanity had changed the galaxy not through war or conquest, but by believing in themselves when no one else would. They had kept their greatest achievements hidden not out of fear, but because they knew this day would come. Now, as the old council died and a new era began, humanity stood ready to share their discoveries with anyone willing to learn. The age of patronizing guidance was over. The age of true cooperation was about to begin. 1 year after humanity's withdrawal, the Unity Point space station hosted a very different kind of gathering. Where once the Galactic Council had sat in judgment, now representatives from 40 species met as equals. The old crystal dome remained, but beneath it, everything had changed. Ambassador Walker stood at the center of the chamber, no longer a quiet observer, but a respected leader. Around him, former council species mixed with newly recognized civilizations that the old council had dismissed as primitive. "The Galactic Cooperative Alliance is now in session," Walker announced. "Where the council ruled by age and tradition, we will govern by merit and mutual respect." Commander Thompson, attending as Earth's military representative, watched from her seat. The defense platforms that had once protected human space now helped guard trade routes for all Alliance members. Humanity's technology had transformed galactic travel, making it safer and more efficient than ever before. The first order of business, Walker continued, is reviewing applications from developing species seeking technological assistance. Under the old council, they would have waited centuries for recognition. Today, we vote to share knowledge freely with any civilization ready to learn. In the audience, Elder Marcus sat as a regular delegate rather than a supreme leader. The past year had humbled him, but also freed him. He no longer carried the burden of maintaining thousand-year-old traditions that had long lost their purpose. The humans taught us an important lesson, Marcus said to the gathered representatives. Age does not equal wisdom. The length of a civilization's history matters less than what they choose to do with their time. On the station's main display, images showed the changes across the galaxy. Human universities welcomed students from hundreds of worlds. Research teams from different species worked together, combining their unique perspectives to solve problems that had once seemed impossible. The Star Empire's former Supreme Commander, now serving as a peace delegate, stood to speak. 1 year ago, we thought ourselves invincible. Then humanity showed us that true strength lies not in weapons, but in innovation and mercy. They defeated our fleet without taking a single life. Jack Miller, promoted to Commander of Alliance Defense, presented the next proposal. We've detected 15 young civilizations developing spaceflight capabilities. The old council would have ignored them for centuries. We propose establishing contact and offering guidance, not as superiors, but as friends. Walker smiled, remembering his first day in the old council chamber. He had arrived hoping to find partners among the stars. That hope had died under the council's patronizing rule, but now it lived again in a new form. Humanity never wanted to stand alone. Walker addressed the gathered species. We simply refused to kneel. Now, we offer our hand in true partnership to any who wish to walk beside us, not behind us. The Alliance members voted unanimously to accept the new civilizations. As the results appeared on the chamber's displays, Walker thought about how far they had come. Humanity's act of defiance had broken the chains of tradition that held back galactic progress for millennia. Thompson's quantum communicator beeped with news from Earth. Another breakthrough. Human scientists, working with researchers from 3 other species, had achieved stable dimensional transit. The galaxy was about to become even bigger. Let the record show, Walker announced to the chamber, that the era of artificial limitations is over. No species will be told they must wait to advance. No theory will be dismissed without testing. No civilization will be judged by their age, but by their potential. As the session ended, delegates from 40 different species mixed freely, sharing ideas and making plans. The old council's rigid hierarchy was gone, replaced by a vibrant exchange of knowledge and culture. Outside the station's windows, ships of all designs flew past. Human vessels powered by dark matter engines alongside alien craft incorporating Earth's innovations. They were no longer separated by council regulations or artificial boundaries. They flew together, carrying representatives of a galaxy that had finally learned to embrace change rather than fear it. Humanity had chosen independence, but in doing so, they had helped free everyone else as well. The new dawn they had fought for wasn't just for Earth. It was for all species ready to reach for the stars on their own terms.